Good morning, Manchester United fans. We're not used to this, are we? A little bit of a disappointing morning after a game. Under Carrick, it's been happy Mondays all the way through every weekend. Now we get a midweek game. It kind of falls flat on its face a bit. Well, it's not the end of the world, and we do need to be realistic with everything here. I want to point out a couple of things from the game last night, and in particular, the stats that are going under the radar, but definitely when we involve Benjamin Sesko into the conversation. One disappointing thing from last night that I think we can all take from it, and even when we watch it back, and I did watch it back in parts last night as well after the game, we did the reluctance to play wide football and cross the ball and get crosses into the box, even when we didn't have Sesko on the pitch. But when we brought him on, the refusal to do so was strange. Listen to this, Benjamin Sesko, and this is something that I don't think Carrick can ignore anymore. I've mentioned this in the actual title of this video. Michael Carrick isn't really ignoring him. It's probably not the right word to use, but Benjamin Sesko has scored 5 goals in his last 6 games for Manchester United, and he started 2. These stats and these numbers you'd be proud of if you were starting games week in, week out. He is an impact player, and are we starting to see a little bit... And look, by the way, I just want to make this very, very clear here. I love Mbeumo up front. But I'm looking at this now and thinking maybe there needs to be a slight change in how Manchester United approach the forward line. And maybe it will start to, I don't know, it's not going to tire because I love Mbeumo and I think he is really at the moment showing that he is better than Benjamin Sesko. But we do need to figure out another way of playing. Can we accept that Benjamin Sesko is a super sub? Is that okay? Or does he deserve to start football matches? He's doing exactly what Matheus Cunha has done previously before Diallo got injured and now gets into the side. I think Sesko needs to be given a little bit of a few plaudits, to be honest, because he was a bright spark from that game last night. Yeah, a couple of touches that went awry, and obviously he needed to find himself in the game in that intense environment and the way that West Ham were playing. Struggled at first, but let's not forget that ball he picked up on the edge of the box and actually hit a shot, something that was very rare last night. Benjamin Sesko, when he came on the pitch for his little cameo, doubled the amount of shots that any of Manchester United's forwards had last night. That's Bruno, that's Ahmad, that's Mbeumo, and that's Matheus Cunha. Yes, Benjamin Sesko, who had literally, 20 plus minutes to play, got 2 shots on target, and one of them was the equaliser. Sometimes it needs shaking up and maybe changing a little bit. And I did like the fact that Carrick gave Sesko enough time to get into the game. The substitute wasn't too late. Some fans would actually say that maybe Sesko or Diallo could have been done a bit sooner just to mix it up a little bit, because Manchester United at that point were struggling and we needed to actually go out and force the issue. Yes, we might have been caught, but we nearly got caught on the break, but for Lenny Yoro. And another positive there as well. Players off the bench for Manchester United making massive impacts in games for Michael Carrick shows me that Michael Carrick actually has got these players all switched on and tuned in. Last night, we came up against a surprise elite low block performance from West Ham. I didn't expect it to be full on low block from West Ham. And they had 2 outlets in Somerville and Bowen. I said this in my review after the game last night, that just worked for them and took the pressure off when needed and occupied Manchester United, allowing West Ham to get out. And the momentum of the game went that way. It was one of them. If someone took control of the game earlier on, that game wouldn't have played out the way it was. If United had scored earlier on, then West Ham wouldn't have been able to play that way. They would have had to been a bit more expansive. But I think Benjamin Sesko, out of everybody, needs to be talked about here. And is it time that we actually gave him a start in the team? Look, we can all say that just after one game, it's an overreaction. And I know it sounds that way, but I do think that he has earned his place in the side, to be honest. I think he has earned a spot, and I feel like it is going to be something similar when we come up against Everton a week on Monday, that we are going to get a very similar sort of performance from David Moyes. Now, David Moyes and Everton obviously losing last night to Bournemouth as well. And you've seen there the frailties that Everton have got at home at the moment. Away from home, different ball game. That's a game now that everyone's going to be building up for and waiting for. And hopefully it's not a disappointment, because this gap in the schedule right now is really going to affect most Man United fans, because we're going to be building up to this game. We're going to be talking about Benjamin Sesko, who's going to start. No idea how anyone's training or what's happened. It's too big of a gap. And this is my only concern now going into this next few games for Manchester United, it's the gaps. It's like, you don't know. And it's like, you fall into that false sense of security thinking, we're all right, we've got these players, they're fully rested. But you have to think on the lines of like, are these players fully switched on and ready to go? Are they ready to go for that game? And that's the bit I'm not too sure about. But I did feel like last night, when Sesko came on the pitch, he gave us that bit of presence that we didn't have. And Mbeumo likes to come off. We didn't have a number 9. The amount of times in the first half, and you watch the game back, the amount of times in the first half, Manchester United had nobody in the box. And you would have Ahmad on the right-hand side, Shaw on the left-hand side, passing backwards, going inside to Bruno, to Mbeumo, to Cunha, who all like to come inside. Patrick Dorgu probably was a bit of a miss last night in that type of game because he would have given us that natural width. He would have got down the line and crossed the ball in. But then again, would we have had anybody in there to head the ball? I think sometimes, and I don't want substitutes to be made early doors, but maybe just look at West Ham, look at their frailty. They conceded more goals from corners than anybody else this season. Put some crosses in the box and you'll cause damage. Every single time Man United put a cross in the box, look what happened. I said it last night. The corner itself, Luke Shaw cleared off the line. A cross coming in, Casemiro scores. A cross comes in, Xerxes, an inch wide of the far post. A cross comes in, equalising goal for Benjamin Sesko. 4 that I counted. 4 decent crosses that came in the box that almost resulted in goals for Manchester United. And it could have been a completely different game. I'm thinking in that moment now, will we learn from this? If it's a similar sort of setup, I would just, you know what? I would play that way. I would put Benjamin Sesko in from the start. I would maybe look to drop someone out. I mean, you could take your pick out of forwards that were off last night. For Man United, all of Man United's front line were off last night. Like I just said, Benjamin Sesko doubled the shots of Bruno, Ahmad and Mbeumo and Cunha all put together. It's diabolical. I think it's only the second time this season that Manchester United have registered less than 10 shots on goal. Nuno did a proper job on us. And sometimes when that happens, I think we look at managers and we think, and Carrick did give Sesko enough time, I'm not saying he didn't, but maybe going forward, we use the impact sub in a different way. Maybe Cunha or Ahmad sits on the bench and has a bit of a break in the next game, and we go with Sesko. Give him his chance. Because I tell you what, he will be chomping at the bit to get on that pitch. Yes, he missed that header against Tottenham and the pressure was off, but when the pressure's on and we need a goal, Benjamin Sesko actually turns up for Manchester United and he scores important goals. It's like, I know it seems like nothing, but the goal against Brighton brought us back into the game. Another cross, Sesko scores. A cross from Bruno against Fulham. Takes his chance, bang, it goes in. Yes, the chips were down in them games and that's brought Benjamin Sesko to the fore, I think, as well. And that's something that we could really take as a massive positive, I think. The fact that he has now got 5 goals in 6 and they've all been in stop-start sort of situations. But look at the goals that Sesko scores. All crosses into the box near enough. Even the goal and the scramble at Brentford for his first goal in and around the 6-yard box. And you're looking at that one, the flick on from the throw-in against Sunderland, in there and around 6-yard box. In the box for the goal against Fulham as well. The 2 goals that he scored against Burnley. Back stick against Brighton in the FA Cup. Again, last night against West Ham. In there, within 10 yards, where it matters with crosses going in. He's a weapon. And it's something that I think we don't use. And the lack of width at the moment, I mean, Ahmad gets to the byline, but he doesn't usually cross the ball. He cuts in and shoots. On the other side, Cunha, we've seen what he does to good effect, and he scored goals from it. So I'm not going to complain here, but I'm just saying maybe just mix it up. We have got a lot in our arsenal, and I do believe that last night showed United have got other options going forward. And this isn't even a negative this morning. This is a big positive for me because I actually think that we've got options there to change things. And when the Mbeumo, Ahmad and Cunha situation doesn't work and that attack doesn't actually come off, we've got the likes of Sesko to come on the pitch. We've got the likes of Xerxes to come on the pitch. You'll have Mason Mount coming back for the Everton game as well, who might be an option to bring on and just stay out there and do percentage football and maybe cross the ball in the box. We've got options there. I'm not overly worried. I think United got a little bit... I think United were surprised by the abruptness of that low block. And there's low blocks, and we know that Nuno plays it, but that was intense last night. And I gave credit to West Ham last night because they deserved it. They defended absolutely brilliantly last night. And sometimes that's difficult. I'll tell you one thing as well, for everyone who's having a bit of a meltdown or anyone who's feeling a bit negative this morning, would you rather be in Man United's shoes in controlling a game and only really conceding 2 meaningful shots on Senna Laman's goal last night for a high-flying West Ham, who have taken other teams to the edge recently? Or would you rather be Chelsea, who surrendered a 2-goal lead at home to Leeds and dropped 2 points there? I would rather be Man United in our position right now, because if that game carried on, Man United would probably have won it. The only annoying thing is that it took us so long to actually change things up. It took us so long to actually go for it, on the pitch that is. I mean, Carrick, like I said, gave Sesko probably just enough time. I personally would have changed it at half-time and gone that way and forced the issue. Carrick didn't. Fair enough. He wanted to give the players that had got him 4 wins in a row, by the way, let's not forget that, the chance to turn it around, and they didn't, and then he changed it. It's fair enough. No issue with that at all. And I think the fact that Manchester United have picked up 13 from 15 points under Carrick, still unbeaten in 9 run, the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League at the moment and over any club, I think it shows that Manchester United have now got that steeliness. And I'm very, very confident that United will get top 4, because this scenario of being, I feel, caught cold by a good West Ham side in a midweek fixture, 2 games in a week that we're not used to this season, that's not going to happen now from now until the rest of the season. We've got full-on weeks and breaks in between every single game, and I'm hoping that that pays dividends for Manchester United. I hope that works out for us, but we will see, won't we? I want to get your comments in on the change-up, maybe giving Sesko a chance right now. Your overall thoughts of the game. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to do too many. I've given my reaction last night. I want to get your thoughts on everything that's happened. We have got other news that we're talking about today as well, everyone. Obviously, that news on Harry Maguire's contract situation as well. That's interesting update came out last night just before the game. I'll talk about that a bit later on as well, but give me your thoughts on maybe giving Sesko a go. I'll get into the Super Chats first of all. And give me your overall thoughts of the game as well, please, everyone. I really like Sesko's raw tools. It's great to see him getting some goals. Glad he is progressing forward as a player, says Rawls with the first Super Chat. Manny with the next one says, if these lads are serious, we need to put these bottom jewelers away. I still don't trust this team. There's a mental weakness when one player buckles. They all fold. Thank God for Euro and Sesko. Well, they all didn't fold, Manny, in a way, because Carrick used the bench. And going forward, that realistically, when you look at it, worked for Man United last night. Carrick isn't going to get much praise for what he did last night. And the team really didn't perform well. But think about them substitutions for a minute. His change for Sesko got us the point and the equaliser. Xerxes almost got us the win. And would Harry Maguire have been able to get back in the position that Lenny Yoro did, with the pace on them counter-attacks that West Ham had and them 2 interceptions that Michael Carrick has quite rightly bigged up for Lenny Yoro? Credit to Lenny Yoro as well last night for his role that he played in that draw for Manchester United. And maybe Carrick's looked at that and gone, if we're going to push here, we need Lenny Yoro on that pitch because he's got a bit of pace, and Maguire wouldn't have been able to sprint back. Like, you start to think about them little tweaks and the moments and what was being spoken about on the sidelines. Key if you're going to go for it, that you've got a little bit more speed at the back, because Harry Maguire might have been isolated there. There was a moment where I lost my shit completely when Callum Wilson was out sprinting every single one of Man United's defenders when going through. And in the end, Yoro got the block. But there was no one able to keep up with a retiree Callum Wilson on the pitch. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Anyway, Yoro made the block, and thankfully he was on the pitch in this moment. Otherwise, United could have been easily staring down the barrel of a 2 or 3-0 defeat there last night in the end as well. So, clever enough, I think, as well, from Carrick there to acknowledge that we have got flaws in our game, I think, in playing Maguire and Leachall when games like this come around. Because if you are going for it, that counter-attack is going to kill us. It is. And that's where I think United might need to invest in a quicker centre-back. It's why a lot of people are saying go and buy a Van der Ven. Something like that. That type of defender is what you need in defence when you're playing like this anyway. Speed at the back is something United don't have, unfortunately. And as good as it is when you're winning games and you're controlling them, and you can step forward, and credit to Senna Lamans last night as well for coming and sweeping in certain moments as well in that game. Very aware, and my God, Senna Lammens again, he's just getting better and better and better and looking like the absolute signing of the summer at the moment for Man United. What a goalkeeper we've got on our hands here. Another positive to take from last night. Manny also says, we suffered under after the 3-day turnaround. We need to change that to cope with Europe. And now we can see merit in squad rotation. We can see merit in squad rotation 100%, Manny. Bang on point there with that comment. We can see merit in investment in Manchester United squad come the summer, though, because if we get Champions League, you can see how this falls down for United. You can see it with Spurs right now. You can see it with Newcastle right now as well. The drop-off from Aston Villa with multiple games. Even Manchester City and Arsenal, Liverpool, they're all struggling with the double games, rotation, player injuries. I made the point the other day about the average amount of injured first-team players out for each team in Europe in the Premier League this season is 6. Can you imagine taking 6 players out of Manchester United's squad right now in key positions? It would be the end of us. The investment in the summer is absolutely crucial for Manchester United. It's really going to pay for Man United going into that campaign next year. It needs to be right. And if Champions League football is made, it's going to be a tough all season for United. The rotation needs to be there. I think we can actually see perhaps how Benjamin Sesko would feature more. If we had European football, even Europa League right now, or still in the FA Cup, we might see more of Benjamin Sesko. It's unfortunate that we haven't got the games to bring other players in and give them an actual a try or give them minutes. It's annoying. It really is annoying. But look, we are in a position now where I think Manchester United can see that the squad impact is good and we have got players to come on and impact things, like what Benjamin Sesko did, like what Lenny Yoro did last night as well. And Joshua Zirkzee, you've got Mason Mount coming back for the Everton game. You need a bit more, I think. And it's showing in key areas. The change-up up front definitely helped Manchester United last night. And I think everyone was shouting out for it. Even the commentators were all saying it. Benjamin Sesko, someone like that needs to come on the pitch. And someone just needs to give United a different option. Because as good as Mbeumo, Ahmad and Cunha are on a low block, you're not getting through. It's too tight. Bruno likes to operate in there as well. And you had 4 of them all crammed together, wanting the same ball. And no one crossing the ball in the box because no one was in the box. And Mbeumo is there and it works in different games. I think what we've seen last night is it works in a certain game for United. And maybe with Moisey coming up and we know how he plays, Sesko's the right option. Because we can put that ball in and he can cause havoc. Even if you're picking up the second ball for Sesko, header or cross or something like that. That's something that didn't happen last night. Magnussen didn't have nothing to do for West Ham in that goal. He's hardly even coming to claim any crosses. So, again, another option there that United need to utilise. And hopefully we do see more minutes for Sesko. Because 5 goals in 6 when you've only made 2 starts is good numbers. Good numbers. Anyone would pay that money that we paid for Sesko when you're getting numbers like that. Yes, I know we've got a first half of the season where we didn't really do much, but Benjamin Sesko, I worked it out before, I think he's made, I think in terms of starts, I think Sesko's only made about 13 starts this season in total. Somewhere around there, I might be wrong, but he hasn't made a lot. In his 23 appearances, at least, I think just over half of them have been starts, not a lot, and no starts under Carrick. Glenn with a super chat says, we got 1 more double game week at beginning of March, Palace at home, and then on the Sunday and Newcastle away on the Wednesday. Actually, yeah, sorry, thanks for that, Glenn. I thought it was the Friday. I can get it mixed up with the bleeding Bournemouth game, I think. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Away games on the 2nd of the game weeks are always tough. Newcastle, if that is a Wednesday night, I think you're right on that one, Glenn, then that is actually going to be a tough week for Man United, that one. Didn't win, but 5 weeks ago, it's a game we'd lose, says Dixon there in the chat. Thanks for that super chat, and yours as well, Glenn. Manny's and Raw's too. Please keep your comments coming in, everybody. 5 weeks ago, we'd have lost that game. Look, if you'd have said to me 5 weeks ago, we'd have been in this position right now, this week, with a bit of a break now, we'd be comfortably in top 4 and no one can overtake us in 4th place, no matter what happens tonight and tomorrow night. I'd have ripped your bleeding hand off. I would have. I would have definitely gone for that. We can all pick out issues that we've had in games, but when you look at the bigger picture, Unbeaten in 5 for Carrick, 13 points from 15. It's not half bad. And I think if we can recover and get the win against Everton, everyone forgets about that. It's if we don't beat Everton, then you start to worry again. Because you remember after the 3 wins we had under Amorim, which was Sunderland, Liverpool and Brighton, we had Spurs and Forest, 2 away games, tricky-ish away games, and we drew both. We do the draw against West Ham and then we draw against Everton or something like that. You start to think, oh, God, no, not again. Not again, please. Let's put some wins together. It's a big game for United Everton coming up in just under 2 weeks' time. And that, I think, is going to be, I think that's going to be a tough old job for United with not playing games. I'm a bit worried, actually, about that. I mentioned it before. Not having games doesn't help us, I don't think. 2-week break, not being in the FA Cup has destroyed us. I think we would have seen more of Sesko. More comments coming in. Let's see what we've got here as well. Bab says, the offside decision for Casemiro was ridiculous. Yeah, where is this tolerance rule gone? The only team that benefited from this hidden tolerance opinion rule, whatever you want to call it, from the PGMOL was Liverpool. So, again, it's another slant. It's another dig at VAR and the PGMOL. Why Liverpool can get away with that and Manchester United can't? I mean, Casemiro was a kneecap offside. Seriously, it is. Look, the rules of the game, offside, I get it. The problem I've got with this is with semi-automatic offsides, the one that Liverpool had against Fulham was clearly offside, more offside than what Casemiro was last night. And that's onside because of the tolerance rule. So why is there one rule for one and then none for the other? It's a joke. It is. And look, we deserved the point last night. Just about. We got away with it. And I don't want to use that VAR decision as a reason why Manchester United failed last night. It played a part, but overall Man United didn't deserve the win. I'm comfortable in saying that. So I look at it and go, again, just on the PGMOL side, it's not making anything easier for fans at all. And all of these little decisions could come in later down the line and really affect seasons. If that's a goal for Liverpool, at the end of the day, Liverpool lost that game anyway, didn't they? So they drew that game anyway. But that would have been a win. That would have been 2 points dropped. That could have been 2 points gained for United last night. And that makes a massive difference going into the results at the end of the season. Ant in the chat says, Adam, my concern was the lack of change of tactics. You have to stretch a low block and that requires quick switches of play. There was no pace at all, none. We do lack pace. We lack pace big time. I think Dorgu gave us that a little bit more. Look, love Cunha, love Mbumo, love Ahmad. And Ahmad is reasonably quick, but we aren't blessed with blistering pace up front. That might be something that United might need to invest in going forward. We don't have that player that can just absolutely rinse someone down the line and put that cross in. It's not there, is it? Every single one of our players are sort of averagely quick. And you look at the midfield, Kobbie Mainoo's not quick, Casemiro's not quick. Bruno's not the fastest, and then the 3 that I just mentioned don't have any. Our fullbacks, Diallo and Shaw, not quick. Centre-backs, not quick. There isn't any pace in Man United's side. And that is a concern. And I don't know if it's something that we need to look at when it comes to recruitment around the summertime. But again, it is a problem. It is a concern. And if a game's not going a certain way, then you can see where United might struggle. In games like that in particular anyway. Look, low blocks usually don't require pace to beat teams. It's a bit of guile and a bit of creativity on the edge of the box because they're so low. But then again, you do need wingers that can actually put the ball in the back of the net as well with that. And look, anyone can cross the ball, but the instruction didn't seem to be there last night for it. And that was a concern. He has the ability to disrupt defenders in the dying minutes, says Jamal. In terms of Sesko, I think that is yes. Failed against low block again, says Andy. Sesko is our number 9. Should be starting, says Leo. Sesko is better than Delap. Lots of people wanting to see Sesko start. Spot on, read tactics. Good crosses we need and the ball down the wing. A bit of old-fashioned. Carrick's got everything right in terms of the old-fashioned play of Man United. But look, at what happens when you cross balls. Bruno crossed one for Sesko. Cunha crosses one for Diallo in the Manchester derby. You're looking at the corners that we score. You look at the two crosses, or the cross from Diallo to Sesko in the Burnley game. The Bruno corner for Sesko against Brighton. Crosses. Crosses score you goals when you've got a 6'6" centre forward in there. Because you've got two men on him trying to take it off, and then there's always someone free in the box somewhere. And that's when the other creativity and the other players that have got that little bit of a different game come into it for me. So again, it's just a case of mixing it up. Personally, the ball's up for their third, for their goal apart. For their goal apart. I thought Shaw was okay. I still think if Cass gets injured, Leacher with his coolness on the ball would make a brilliant DM. It's showing now, doesn't it? In terms of Manchester United moving forward in that midfield, like Nigel's just mentioned there, Manuel Ugarte's done at this football club. Double game week, and you're having to play Casemiro pretty much through the whole thing. Probably Menu. And they were outnumbered last night in midfield. And they performed well, Casemiro and Menu, for me. And it just goes to show, though, Carrick is not using Ugarte. Another manager that just does not rate Manuel Ugarte. What a horrible transfer that's turned out to be for United. A waste of time. He's done. Casemiro's leaving. United need 3 midfielders. 3 midfielders. It's as simple as that. 2's not going to cut it going in the European football next season. It's just not. So that, I think, when you look at it and you break it all down, tells you a lot. 5 games in, and Ugarte nowhere near this Man United side. Nowhere near it. Even when United were stretched, tired, double game week, Ugarte still doesn't get on the pitch. That's the biggest tell for me in terms of what happens in the summer. So, again, if Ineos have got plans of keeping Michael Carrick, if Ineos are looking at another manager coming in, what they can do here is look back on what Manchester United previous managers, Ruben Amorim, Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher, what they have done in playing time for Manuel Ugarte tells you everything. Even Ten Hag didn't play him that much. They don't like him. He isn't good enough. And no matter who comes in the summer, Manuel Ugarte has to be sold by Man United. And with interest, like Romano said yesterday, from Italy and Turkey, you're taking a cut price, 20, 25 million. Ugarte has to go. That money has to go into the coffers. Get rid of him. He's never going to be good enough. If managers are not going to use him, then there's no point in him being around. And he's not going to start the next game either. In fact, I don't think Manuel Ugarte, as long as Casemiro stays fit, will start a game again for Manchester United. He's done. He's done. He's there simply for emergencies. And United need to move past that in the summer, buy the players we need to bring in, and then move forward. I think that's what's necessary now. We need that. Joe says, Adam, is it me or is that Traore getting even bigger? He looks like a tank. There's a reason why he's going from club to club, mate. He's just not that good. And he is too big. I would drop Cunha for Sesko, although Cunha has been good recently. He played last night like he did the first half of the season. Yeah, he struggled last night, Cunha. Look, don't get me wrong. There are some little snappy balls and passages of play where United look really good. Like, we're keeping the ball last night. In possession, United were decent. We just couldn't penetrate. When it comes to that final third and a low block, that's where we're judging these players. It's not like they're horrendous. It's just like when you've got 2 or 3 players in front of you in a tight space, what are you going to do? It's impossible. We didn't stretch West Ham enough. So overall, as a team, you could bring Bruno into this here as well in terms of the captain and what he can do on the pitch. He is the voice of the manager. Get players out wide. Get Cunha out wide. Make him stay there and give us some width. Get Diallo doing the overlap. Diallo hardly got forward. Apart from that ball that Ahmad should have played into him on the right-hand side, he wasn't forward enough doing an overlapping job. There was major concern. And I thought the concern was, again, the pace of Manchester United at the back. And Diallo was forced backwards because Somerville and Bowen were too advanced. And Diallo and Shaw couldn't get forward enough. Shaw got forward a few times and in the second half managed to get a couple of crosses in, but nothing in the first half. Nothing anywhere near good enough. And again, it just showed, doesn't it? The frailties within Man United's side. The fact that West Ham had that low block, but 2 wingers forced Man United onto the back foot. And that was a good tactic from Nuno. That 2 players massively in form as well in Bowen and Somerville. They really played a part last night for him. And it worked a treat for Nuno last night. Going back to Jose, qualification for the Champions League followed by non-investment for next season is a feature of the Glazers. But then again, Kev, you have got Ineos there now, and the pressure on them from this fan base to invest into the team. If United don't invest, we're getting back into the Champions League, then we're screwed. We are screwed. We're never going to make Champions League the season after. And this is the big test now. This is, like I said before, 3 years in, Ineos, this is when we start to properly judge them. Are they going to stand firm in terms of running Manchester United from the football side of things and not allow the Glazers to impact the lack of spending? Look, the Glazers are about to spend over $1 billion in buying an IPL team. And they're moaning about what Man United spend in staying up. The only reason you can buy that IPL team is because of Manchester United, you absolute scumbags. So Ineos need to step forward here. And if Ineos don't step forward and they don't stand their ground in terms of knowing exactly, and they know what United need because they're all football people in there now, unlike before. They know exactly what Man United need investment-wise. If they don't stand firm and spend big this summer, then it's on Ineos. And they're going to have to take the flak because they are going to be classed as the whipping boys. They spent over 200 million in each of the first 2 summers. So they're nearly, $500 million in investment regarding Man United's first few windows with Ineos in charge, going back to the Ten Hag start of the season last season. So that's where we're at. I expect that and a bit more going into the Champions League this season. Because if you don't, then you're back to where you was, and it's pointless. It's pointless getting a new stadium. It's pointless looking at any sort of infrastructure at Manchester United. It's not going to work. You need to spend and spend big for 5 consecutive transfer windows. And then you could maybe settle a bit and pick and choose certain players in. That's what you need to do. It needs to be. And if you don't spend money in January, then you move that forward to maybe 3 or 4 summer transfer window big spends. And with United not spending in January, you need to, this summer and next summer, spend massive amounts of money to get the right players in. A little bit of a mini rant there on the Glazers and Ineos. I don't think you'll mind me doing that, will you, everyone? Can I just say, do yourselves a favour and go and watch the Sesko finish a few times to appreciate that deft touch. That was a class finish. Benjamin Sesko has had some good finishes this season. I do still believe, and I said this before, I think Benjamin Sesko can hit about 15 goals this season. He's got 7 now. I think he's going to go from strength to strength. I really do think he has now got used to what the Premier League is, and his form since December has been very, very good for Man United. I think he's going to be a real weapon for us. I really do. I think I'm going to predict it now. I think he gets 15 goals. I think that's where we finish with Sesko. And that's a good start. That's a good start. It's similar to what Rasmus Højlund got, in fact, in his first season. But I'm a lot more confident that Sesko will be able to move forward more than what Rasmus Højlund did. We'll see. We'll see. It's a big shout. But yes, Manny's right with that super chat there. We do need to recognise how good that finish was last night. You need tall and physical players against such mid-low block teams. Carrick got all his tactics wrong. Cunha, Ahmad and Mbumo were getting out-muscled in front of their fullbacks. There was a lot of intensity in West Ham's play yesterday. I mean, you can say Carrick got the tactics wrong. In hindsight, it's easy to say that now. And it's easy to discuss it afterwards and what he got right and what he got wrong. But these are players that have got Man United 4 wins in a row with this team. There is a reason why he picked the players that he did. But they didn't work. And luckily enough, he changed it in time to grab a point. Almost all 3. The Glazers are investing $1.3 billion in an American team. They don't care about us. IPL, it's an Indian cricket team, Babs. When you cannot match their strength, beat them with pace and flair. Do not be stubborn and waste time. Well, that's the thing. We haven't got pace on the bench. It isn't there. Xerxes, Sesko, who else can you bring on in there? Ended up bringing Yoro on at the back. United are limited in the different types of attacking player we've got. Sesko is the key. Sesko is the key. Get the ball out wide and away you go. In terms of the other news, let's move on to that quickly as well, because we have to go through everything. Please pop a like on the video, everybody. Thank you again, everyone who entered our prediction game last night. We had mega number. We had over 67 people on our game last night. I'll announce the winners of the OK jerseys in the evening show later on, everybody, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, thank you again to everyone last night. Other news, and the main news came out before the game last night, which you can see going across the bottom of your screen, came from the Daily Mail, and this was on Harry Maguire actually now moving closer to signing a new contract. So this is two players now for Manchester United that are moving forward with contract talks. Kobbie Mainoo, we know, is progressing well from reports. And now Harry Maguire, with there being no contract on the table, and this is the same reports as well. Chris Wheeler, Nate Sol, they were the ones who came out and said there's no offer on the table for Harry Maguire, 2 or 3 months ago? Maybe even sooner than that. And now the same report coming out tells me that something has been said. There is something on the table and talks are going on. Harry Maguire is about to sign a new contract at Manchester United. How much, we still don't know. How long, we still don't know. But the report last night was that the conversation is going on and Maguire is moving closer and closer to signing a new deal that will keep him at Manchester United. More details on that, obviously, as they come. Get into the comment section, please, everybody. Do you think that that is the right call now at this point? Harry Maguire staying at Manchester United? Do we need another centre-back on top of him as well going into European football next season? I think we do. I really do think that Man United need another centre-back as well if we are going to be playing. Look, I've said this before, and I've said that Maguire staying might give United enough in terms of centre-backs at the moment. If we're playing 2 centre-backs with 4 at the back, maybe go and invest that money then in the midfield where we need it. And with Manuel Ugarte leaving as well, quite clearly, like I've just described, Manchester United need to spend a lot of money this summer. Another centre-back isn't as high on the priority list, I know, but I think United, if they sign Maguire on, they need to be looking for bringing somebody else as like an understudy in for Maguire and bringing another player forward. I think we're going to need that extra bit of cover. Because, like I said, Maguire was a bit of a concern last night. It looked like he tweaked his hamstring. It looked like he was struggling. And it looked like we might end up losing Maguire again. He battled on, and luckily we managed to keep him on the pitch and then bring him off later on. But still, the concern is there, isn't it? A big injury like that is going to really scupper Manchester United going forward. Don says, yes, we need experience if we qualify for the Champions League, but Shaw needs to go now. I mean, Shaw's been decent and consistent. Made an error for that goal. I said it on the watch-along. Why are you letting that ball bounce? And Bowen has done him there big time. And then it cost us. I knew as soon as he missed that ball, and I said it, I remember saying it in the watch-along, that Shaw had balls that up there, and United were going to concede. It just looked like we were going to concede. It did. I mean, it's annoying, isn't it? It is annoying. But, look, I think Shaw has started, 26 games this season straight now for United. I think it's his best season. I don't know if he'll get another contract at the end of next season. His contract finishes next season. We'll see on that one. And I'm sure we'll be in the same situation we are now with Harry Maguire, but with Luke Shaw next season. Did anybody see the Wayne Rooney comments on the United Strand? And the hair. It's quite brutal, actually. It was funny. It was funny, but I think a bit of frustration there from Wayne and a few other Manchester United people that we shouldn't be looking at gimmicky stuff. It's one of them. Frustrations were bubbling up and boiling over yesterday, and I do think that it is what it is, isn't it? It's thingy. We'll maybe talk about that later on. I might bring it up on Adam FC maybe. What Carrick said last night, we gave everything at the end with lots of attacking players on the pitch. Maybe we could have put more balls into the box. Carrick knew. At least he's accepted it. After everything that we've just said there, then, and what everyone else has spoken about, at least Carrick's actually noticed it and can actually come out and admit that that's something that Manchester United got wrong yesterday. So maybe something to learn from the... Sorry, for the next game against Everton. Carrick was asked whether Sesko is ready to start as well. He's in a good place. He's ready to kick on. It's just managing the balance, and yet we we could have changed things a little bit earlier. That's obviously the decision. We're always trying to make the right one. And we were actually having a bit of a spell in the game at that point, where we thought we might come back into it, and the Casemiro goal. So there's a balance, but certainly when he came on the pitch, he made a big difference. So he was asked a question directly on Benjamin Sesko starting or being ready to start, and it's there, and I think everyone's talking about it because of what we said at the top of the show. Is it time that we've seen Benjamin Sesko start a game? Carrick, when asked regarding the break, we've seen this news come up. Manchester United not taking a friendly now in this period. Carrick has come out and answered that after the game yesterday. He said, we'll stay in Manchester. It's a chance to recharge our batteries. There are a few injuries and some minor issues. It will be an opportunity to take a short break, process this period, clear our heads, work and come back even stronger. It's strange, 13 days, but we'll try and make the most of it. It is really annoying now, like 13 days. We have to sit on a pretty drab result for that long as fans and waiting for the next game. It's annoying. It's really annoying that we have to wait that long. And it just is what it is, isn't it? It's painful. And everyone else playing the FA Cup and having games the following weekend. We don't play until after the weekend, obviously, with the Monday Night Football. Kind of shafted us a little bit, haven't they? They have really shafted us with the league and everything. So, yeah, we could actually be out of the top 5 by the time that we actually play again. And that's annoying. It's really annoying, but that's the way the fixtures have been laid out, unfortunately. Midfielders and forwards make loads of errors, but if a defender makes one, it's costly. Shaw, Maguire, Leach play on the edge. They have to be protective and attack the first ball. It doesn't always work out. No, and look, I didn't have a problem with the defense. I thought we defended well last night. I really did. I thought both teams' defences won the game last night overall. The attacks were nullified. And don't forget, like Gerard Bowen, Somerville, great form. They were effective, but didn't really have a sniff last night. They forced United back, but we dealt with them well. I thought collectively United defended well as a team last night, but we kind of fell into the trap of Nuno's game, and it was one of them stalemate type of fixtures. That's how West Ham wanted their game to pan out, and it went their way, I think, last night. United just got caught in the middle of it, and they found it really difficult to break out of that defensive shell, I think, and the way that the game was being played. Get some more comments in. Steve says, if anyone sees that United strand a guy, be tactful, everyone, and don't say that was a close shave for us last night. Oh, poor. Tuchel was outspying last night. Gary, you were right. Covering eyes on Maguire, Shaw, and Kobe Mainoo. Obviously, Gerard Bowen as well in there. Plenty of England players on display. He's got to be thinking about Mainoo again now at the moment, hasn't he? He's got to be on it. I think if Maguire carries on and Shaw carries on, I think all 3 of them might come into the international fold and come that international break in March. We shall see, won't we? We shall see indeed. By the way, everyone, thank you for all of the memberships and contributions from yesterday. Busy all day on match day it was yesterday, so thank you again. Absolutely loved that. And we had plenty of people involved. It was just disappointing that we didn't get the right result. It would have been great sitting on 5 wins in a row for 2 weeks, wouldn't it? But not the case. This is a longer wait than a bleeding international break for Man United now. It's been annoying. It really is. But look, that pretty much sums up everything that we've got to say here on Forever United TV this morning. All that's left for me to say is please pop a like on the video. Let's see if we can get that up near 200. Make sure you do get your comments in as well on Benjamin Sesko in the comment section. We have had a poll running throughout the show, and the poll was start Sesko in the next game. 88% of you have said yes, start Sesko in the next game. I'll end that poll there. Thank you again, everybody. It has been an absolute ball, as always, on our morning shows. Little disappointing, little downbeat, but not the end of the world. United go again in a couple of weeks. And it's going to be interesting to see what news comes out. Maybe we'll see more news about these contract situations regarding Mainoo and Maguire now that there's not much going on at Man United. We'll get all of that ironed out. And maybe there will be news on that side of things. And we'll see, and we'll have you all fully covered here on Forever United TV, as we always do. But for now, that is it, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe to Forever United TV. I'll see you all later on. Have a fantastic